What's up, guys? My name is Caleb with Incline Performance Therapy. I wanted to talk a little bit about this concept of periodization. And what periodization is it's basically designing a program with certain ebbs and flows, you might say, or intentional focuses at different periods of time over the course of a year or over the course of a training cycle. And the point is to optimally prepare an athlete to perform at the highest level when it's time to compete. And so what I want to do is I want to go through the example of a baseball season, or we'll use a year-long example for a baseball player. And basically there are three main sections of a training cycle that we want to incorporate. You have section one here, which we'll call the hypertrophy phase. And then from here, we have the strength phase. And then the last section we'll call the power phase. Okay? And so basically what these are sections of time that are broken up throughout a training period to, again, optimally prepare the athlete to compete. So usually with the baseball player, say they finish the season in the fall, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we'll take a little bit of time off, but then we'll start this hypertrophy section. And what this is going to do is it's going to focus on building muscle size, right? So that you can basically bias different aspects of training by different rep schemes or different training principles. So here with hypertrophy, something we're going to do is we might, what the evidence says is that we need to take the exercises in the hypertrophy phase to failure if we want to build muscle, okay? And so what we'll do is we'll take muscles or take the exercises to failure, so you basically fatigue out, and then we're gonna take a 2 to 3 minute recovery time between reps for those exercises. And then we're gonna do this probably 3 to 4 times per week, okay? Now, obviously it's not just one exercise, it's several exercises. We're focusing on many muscle groups, but basically we're taking each exercise to failure. We're gonna take 2 to 3 minute breaks in between. I didn't put this, but we're gonna do probably 4 to 5 sets per exercise. And then we're gonna do that 3 to 4 times per muscle group per week. So that's a lot, but the intent is that you actually build muscle size pretty significantly. Now, what we're gonna do after we go through the hypertrophy phase, so if we talk about ending the baseball season, this will probably go on for 2 months or so in the hypertrophy stage, growing muscle size. Then we're gonna go on to the strength phase. And the difference here is this is gonna be focused on more maximum weight lifted, right? So it's gonna be actually moving as much weight as possible rather than focusing on the size of the muscles that you're producing. And the result here is that we may not go to muscular failure, although it will be close, but we're probably gonna keep the reps in this area at anywhere from 5 to 8 repetitions per set. We're probably gonna also do 4 to 5 sets per exercise. Now here though, we might decrease the recovery time to about 90 seconds, okay? And that's how we can do that to optimize strength gains in the training principle, right? We're also gonna do this 3 to 4 times per week, although depending on how people recover, since we're lifting a lot of weight here, you might need a little more time, all right? And again, so I didn't say this, but these are gonna be your big compound movements, squats, deadlifts. But since we're hypertrophying, we also can do localized muscle training, your curls, your tricep extensions, if we're looking at legs, knee extension, hamstring curls, things like that to grow muscle size. The strength section is going to be mostly compound lifts, so your deadlifts, your squats, overhead presses, leg press, those types of things to work on the strength side. Then we're going to go into the power phase. So again, we're going to spend about 2 months here. We might spend 2 months or so in this strength phase. And then right before, maybe a month before they go back to baseball, we're going to implement a power phase. And this is going to focus a lot on, it's power, which is basically how quickly you can move or produce a lot of force, all right? And so for baseball players, what this is going to look like is going to be a lot of med ball rotational chest passes, or maybe some bucket tosses. You might implement some landmine presses in here as well. We're going to work on sprint work, right? We're going to work on lateral jumping movements, basically quick movements that are going to be geared towards more sport-specific training, okay? So what this is going to look like is your reps here are going to be, I'm going to say 5 to 6 reps per exercise or per side. And the reason why is because if we go beyond that, we start getting out of the anaerobic mindset or anaerobic area of training, and we start getting to the aerobic side, which transitions from power production and type 2 muscle fibers to type 1 muscle fibers. And for baseball players specifically, that's just not what we're trying to do at this stage in the game. Okay, so then as far as sets go, we can also increase, we can have a high number of sets as well, up to 5 sets, but this can vary greatly depending on how many exercises you're trying to do. So you might do 3 different exercises of rotational power production, and you may not need 5 sets of each. You might just want to do 2 sets of each, just if you're implementing many different variations of that exercise, okay? For this, we're going to allow a little bit more time to recover again. We're going to go back to our 2 to 3 minutes of recovery time. And then we can also implement this several times throughout the week, although I'll probably say 2 to 3 times per week from the power production standpoint. And the reality is that we might have these strong delineations right here, but really it's a little fuzzy and there's some carryover here because we don't want to totally lose all the size and strength that we've been gaining when we get to the power stage. So we still have to maintain some strength training when we're in the power stage. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to have, I didn't say this, but a 4th stage, which is kind of this maintenance situation where we take kind of a combination of the strength and power phases and we take that forward during the season, okay? That way we don't lose the strength and the progress and power that's been made over this training cycle. We can take that through the season and maintain that same level of fitness and function at the beginning of the season towards the end, because you obviously want that towards the end when you're in the playoffs and whatnot. Now, this is kind of geared towards a higher level, maybe a college or professional baseball player. With the kind of middle school, high school player, you also have summer ball to think about. And so the result is this section, this stage might be a little shrunk, and you might have another one of these cycles towards the end of summer before fall ball starts again. And so you'd kind of run through this again and have another maintenance phase through the fall. So that's kind of an overview of things to think about when you're talking about designing a training program for a given period of time. And this is something that we do with our athletes here, especially if they do some training during the off season. We definitely don't want them to just stop training when they get back in season. We can make programs that work for any and every person in that regard. But these are the things that we think about when we're designing some of these programs. I hope it's helpful, and I'll see you next time.